99.3 Nigeria Info. Good morning to you, Lagos. Welcome to Dailies today. That's right, the second part. That's right. I'm Sheriff Quadry.
And I'm Jimi Disu. Good morning.
Yes, you can watch the show on Facebook and on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can watch on Facebook and on YouTube. Let's begin this morning. We've got our papers ready. We're going to start from this one here. Guardian newspaper, page 6. Tinubu wades into Lagos Assembly crisis, meets lawmakers at Villa.
Sheriff, I don't know if you're a boxing fan.
Oh, yes, I am.
Okay.
After soccer is boxing.
It's boxing. Okay, so if you're a boxing fan, you need to refer to the fight between Muhammad Ali way back then and George Foreman.
George Foreman.
When everybody thought that George Foreman was going to beat the living daylights out of Muhammad Ali. But Muhammad Ali, he used what you call a rope-a-dope. He softened, his people went and softened the ropes, they leaned back. Anyway, what Tinubu has done now is a political rope-a-dope. He knew this was where he was going to end. But tactically, he let everybody satisfy themselves. When he saw that he's getting to the climax, he invited everybody to the villa, which he could have jolly well done in the first instance. Because at the end of the day, it's his interest that is most important to him. And that's the way politics is played in Nigeria. It's his own interest. And his own interest is he wants to try, as Lagos West is very, very crucial in an election in Lagos. Lagos West is the most crucial. With Aregbesola gone, his flanks are wide open. And he needs this gentleman called Obasa to cover his flanks in that direction. That is the reading I got from what happened. And the news is that the crisis, technically as of yesterday, is over. Indeed, I was able to speak to one or two interested parties, and they said, oh, it's all over, Jimi Disu. The president has spoken to us. In fact, it says here that sources disclose that the meeting connected with the recent leadership crisis in the House of Assembly emerging from Tinubu's office at about 4:30. Members of the delegation were heard chorusing, "On your mandate we shall stand." All of them. On your mandate we shall stand. Where were the photographers? That's a year. And the story says that for about 5 minutes, the lawmakers sang the political lyric commonly used by supporters of President Tinubu to affirm their loyalty. The story says that Obasa refused to speak, which was wise of him. Yesterday was not the time to speak. And a member of the assembly who was in the meeting told the Guardian that Mr. President had resolved the issue and everyone is set to face their legislative assignment in the best interests of Lagos. When asked if the issue of the governor and the intervention of the GAC were discussed at the meeting, the lawmakers responded, "You can see that we all came out smiling. We also sang popular lyrics on your mandate we shall stand. No matter what happened, the buck stops at the president's table." Yes. So whether anybody likes it or not, for now, the president is in firm control of the political arena. If you say the country now, argument, but Lagos for certain, that is what has happened. So, you're not likely to, they say all's well that ends well. The reports we hear are that all the various lawsuits and the ones about buying cars, which unfortunately we missed yesterday. By the time we started, we hadn't gotten it in print. We try to follow what is in print. This job can be dangerous sometimes if you follow things that are online. So, the issue of the Miranda buying some cars instead of Obasa wanted to buy them. It was said that Obasa wanted to buy the cars. One report said Dubai, and they were Toyota cars, and it had been on the cards. And Miranda decided to do the sensible thing by buying them from Toyota and saved the assembly 2 billion. For the life of me, I don't even know why we should be buying cars for honorables. But that's the story for another day. I believe that we should monetize everything. So you can go buy what you want. You must take into cognizance what the government can afford. You squeeze taxpayers, you beat them, you do all kinds of things. At the end of the day, you use this money to buy vehicles for members of the House, members of the executive, members of the judiciary, without taking cognizance as to where these monies could be put elsewhere. Anyway, we are not on that today. We hope that the House will resume on Monday and everybody will live happily ever after. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
What do you think?
I mean, it's sorted. It's sorted.
Okay, so why I said that is that I'm going to be asking a question. Why did the president allow it last this long and all the drama when he could jolly well have spoken to them from the very beginning?
I think that the entire thing got out of control, got out of his hands.
Okay.
I think yes, he's a powerful politician. Yes, Lagos is his base. But that thing almost slipped through his fingers.
So calling them then did what?
So I think that what he had done before now, by inviting Sir Bisi Akonde and the rest of the big
GSC,
so I think the GSCs themselves, what I'm saying is this thing almost slipped through his fingers. The GSCs were also divided. So he had to invite the elders of the party, even from outside of Lagos, to come and sort this out.
And they couldn't solve it?
I think they did.
You think they did or
yes.
he did?
No, I think they did. It was the meeting that they had with the lawmakers and everything that eventually now resulted.
At the meeting, what we hear is that at the meeting they had, the agreement was that Obasa himself should resign.
Oh, yes.
Which he didn't.
So what I think is...
And it was getting out of hand this week. At least there were meetings, at least as at Monday. There were meetings, some action would have taken place. I think based on that, the president now summoned everybody to Abuja. It has made all these other people look like toothless bulldogs. The GSC, the elders, they have no hold. They don't have much of a say because he had to solve the problem himself.
So I don't think that he solved the problem. I think the elders solved the problem.
You think so?
The elders got Obasa back in office. That is what the president wanted.
So, but to stay in court.
So that's the thing. Once he was back in office, it was now easy for the president to say, you know what, everybody should just calm down.
Who do you think was behind what Obasa himself did by forcing himself in?
I don't know.
Because the paraphernalia with which the paraphernalia with which he used, suddenly the paraphernalia that he used, surely there was some connivance from somebody at the very, very top. It's a mystery. I hope one day one of the members will be bold enough to write a book or something on this.
The better.
The better, because it's quite symbolic. But what it just shows is that in the APC, the president is the Lord. And like he says, he's the president and he's the commander-in-chief.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Oh, yeah, to Port Harcourt we go.
Let's go to Port Harcourt. Rivers, heavens won't fall if Fubara is impeached. Wike.
YOLO. Fubara is going. I watched Wike yesterday, and there's only one word I can use for the way he conducted himself. It was reckless. You don't say, for example, that heavens won't fall if Fubara is impeached. Even if they won't fall, I don't think it is politically nice. And within the crisis, you make sort of boastful claims. I don't think it was right. What he said here was quite. I watched it by the way. When he was first of all, let's take the issue of Fubara having gone to the house and meeting the door locked. He knew before he set out that door was locked. He did that for the optics, because surely he has what you call an advanced team.
That's right.
The advanced team would have gone to do a recce, and they would have come back to tell him that. And Wike claimed that his manner of communication showed that to put it in my own words, he was doing all that to quote and unquote fulfill all righteousness. Just as if that he didn't do it in the proper manner. He didn't do this, he didn't do that, he didn't do this, and he didn't do that. There is a bit of pride in both parties. There's a bit of pride. I don't think Fubara has absorbed the fact, or maybe he has, that whether he likes it or not, that is the assembly he's going to have to deal with. But I think from Wike's stance yesterday, they have made up their minds they're going to, they have made up their minds they won't work with him. And he said, look at the report here. It says heavens won't fall if Fubara is impeached. He says if Fubara is put into the gallery, he tagged Pandef as the worst organization to rely on. And this is a very strong group in the Niger Delta. Yes. And I think he should have been a bit more guarded. He says that in Fubara's letter to the assembly was useless and insincere. Man, come on. He says Fubara demolished assembly comments, can't visit uninvited. 27 lawmakers back governor from entering assembly. Wike said something. Look at this headline. No ethnic group has a monopoly of violence. That is the threat by the Ijaw people. In replying them, I don't think this would help matters. In daring them, I don't think... when you say no ethnic group has a monopoly of violence, so are you saying that the other groups are armed? Okay? Now, he said every ethnic group in Niger Delta had the capacity to do what others are doing, warning that no one should arrogate to himself the monopoly of violence. Wike is a former governor. He's become an elder statesman in that state. Okay? And rather than preach, peace and think of progress for the people, it looks like and from his man yesterday, it looks as if he's all out ready for war. He said, who has called for his impeachment? Who? He has committed an infraction to be impeached. What is wrong? Is impeachment a criminal offense? Is it not provided for in the Constitution? And then he says, am I a member of the assembly? He says, I have heard people say if they impeach him, there will be breakdown of law and order. Rubbish. Okay? Tell me, who are the militants? Who was born a militant? Tell me, who is a militant? Who cannot blow the pipelines? Why do you arrogate this power to a certain group of people? Are Ijaw people the only ones who can blow up pipelines? What nonsense is that? Who told you that Ogoni, Ikwere, and others cannot blow up pipelines? Why do you arrogate powers to people? Then he says, philosophically, who is the one doing the contract of the pipeline surveillance? Is it not an Ijaw son? Is it not Tompolo? Tantila? They gave you the contract, you are Ijaw, and somebody will say Ijaw people will go and blow pipelines, and somebody will listen to that. I think that he described the letters that Fubara sent as useless letters. I think that Wike, it should be advised by those concerned to cool it down. If your people want to impeach the guy, go ahead and get it done. But I don't think words of war and battle, I don't think will help in this case. But you know more about the River State than I do, so you tell me what's on your mind
about this issue.
Yes, and Wike's conduct yesterday.
I mean, there was something that even came to mind when I saw that thing, and to my mind, I'm thinking, if Wike extends invitation to the press people to come and sit down with him, perhaps it's just best nobody shows up. Of course, I know that it's impossible. I mean, look, as media people, as journalists, you have to do this thing as your job.
Not just that, Sheriff. Let's be honest.
Because this is inciting. This is not. This is not state manly.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves. Our colleagues too have not helped in this matter, jumping at every opportunity to go and sit down with him for 2-3 hours. Our colleagues haven't been helpful. And it's usually the same set of people. They have not been helpful. I've told you the days of total neutrality in anything like this are gone. As media, responsible media, you must take a stand. He was given close to 2.5 hours live on television. Our colleagues should be partially blamed for this. I mean, you sit down there and Sheriff, you know what we are talking about. In a year, you understand what I'm saying. Everybody must have a sense of responsibility. I know that, look, eventually, something tells me that Fubara is gone. He's lost in this game and so be it. But you don't fan embers by begin to say nobody has a monopoly. Yesterday, it was like all-out war. If we had to fight another country, we wouldn't need the propaganda you'd need for that. Won't be more than what we had yesterday. It's as if he's prepared for the worst. And if, you see, part of the problem we are going to have is that Ibike appears, and the APC members themselves are a bit worried that the president has overindulged him. Because at the end of the day, all this so-called power, we know where the origins are. All this power that I'm powerful, I'm this, I'm connected, we know what I want. Okay? and to put it in these words, nobody has monopoly, but the president himself has to contain Wike for peace to reign in that place. Because what do you think the judge would have been doing since yesterday? Having heard all what he said.
I saw a video, I don't know whether it's current or not, of some masked men inside the bush.
Oh no, that was last week.
It was last week.
Except that was another one. I don't know what.
Yes.
But there was one of some masked men. You can't take away the tribal sentiment in this.
No.
This is the first time they're going to have
an
Ijaw
take
governor.
it away. Exactly.
And the Ijaws, ironically, of all the indigenes in Port Harcourt, they're the most widespread.
I was going to say that.
Up to Bayelsa, up to even in Lagos.
I was going to say that.
Yes.
I mean, it's too inciting to a group of people to believe that you as an individual, you can lure people into violence. You can destabilize your own state because of your interests.
And at the end of the day...
And you're talking like that on TV.
And what is the issue with this Fubara thing? The way I look at it is a matter of political interest. Structure and this and that. It has no bearing on the progress of the state.
I really hope that.
But I'd like to plead. I'd like to plead
with him and.
Yes, I'd like to plead with our colleagues to please, in all honesty, don't find yourself being complicit in these things. I watched it yesterday with horror. What's going on here? It's a complete loose cannon.
Let's go take our next story. Isaleko descendants secure ruling against public viewing of Gangs of Lagos.
Isaleko, these are my people. Okay, so there was this movie, Gangs of Lagos, and my people thought that the Isaleko people thought that it didn't portray the Ayo masquerade and Isaleko in good light. And they went to court. It was a sensible thing if you agreed to go to court. And they were able to reach some kind of settlement with the producers of the movie. I've watched the movie myself, and I'll keep my thoughts to myself as to what I thought of the movie. But again, I'm happy it has ended well. It has ended well. I sent a note to one of their lawyers yesterday, Mr. Shukwa Sashore.
Okay.
So we'll bring the Saleko people to come and publicly stress that all is well now. And I think what might likely happen is that some parts of the movie that are found to be will be taken out, and so on and so forth. So we'll get to that bridge when we cross it.
Well,
did you watch the movie?
We've watched the movie now. We've watched.
No,
it.
when you do things like this, my people know. They're enlightened. They know that you've watched the movie, but it's to prevent other people from doing the same.
From watching the movie.
No,
Since that
from
was-
producing
okay, from
another movie
producing.
in
Okay.
same light, yes.
Okay.
When you now want to produce another movie, you understand. You don't will watch it. But do you know that the my people, they have a way they can erase it, they can delete it from your brain.
They
You will
cannot
not
do it.
have you watched the
They
movie?
cannot do it.
Don't threaten me.
They
They
cannot.
will delete
They cannot delete anything from my brain.
I'm what excites me, not just because they're my people, but because they did just the sensible thing. They didn't like some parts of it. They went to court. It's good that you should be sensitive about your origins.
Yes. Yes.
And it's also good that you do the appropriate thing by going to the law courts.
For those that don't know, though, I'd like to add this very briefly. In Hollywood, you would think that they have very, very free hand to do whatever it is they want to do. You won't know that there's a lot of censorship, script writing, rewriting going on. The relationship between the Hollywood industry and the government. Some sort, you will see that Russia is always the bad guy.
No, I was going to come to that. Do you know, Sheriff, I almost kicked myself until the day I came across some information. A lot of movies themselves are sponsored by the government. You know, the movies we watched when we were small, Cowboys and Indians and so on, all these things were sponsored by the government. Even a lot of the movies about the Second World War, A Bridge Too Far, all this whatever, to make the Germans always look like the bad guys. I grew up thinking that you could beat up any German. It's propaganda.
It's all propaganda.
It's all propaganda.
It's all propaganda.
You know, so these things.
So no society will fold their hands and
no.
Let's go to our next story. It's the health page of the Guardian.
We know usually we bring it on Tuesdays. So we haven't seen the Punch for a few days, so we're taking the health page of the Guardian. So let's quickly see what they have there. Women task on wellness to curb depression. Okay, experts has emphasized the need for women to pay attention to their health and focus on mental wellness to curb depression. And another story here, FD to standardize diagnostic services for improved health coverage. Experts urge women to prioritize health and mental well-being. It's the same story here. FD expands treatment to 3 million Nigerians with drug use disorders. What are drug use disorders? Let me read this. The federal government has expanded treatment and services and improved healthcare access for individuals for seeking help for drug use disorders. Nigeria alone accounts for 7.5% of these statistics, with an estimated population of 3 million individuals facing drug use disorders. Additionally, 13.2 million people in Nigeria inject drugs, with half of them testing positive for hepatitis CI6 million. Hepatitis C. Thank God I don't read the news, or you'd have fired me. 1.6 million with HIV and 1.4 million with co-infections. What other stories do you have there? Doctors urge Oyo government to tackle wage disparities, adopt new acts. Hemorrhage, hypertensive disorders remain causes of maternal death. The World Health Organization has called for urgent global action to arrest the persistently high rates of maternal mortality, as a new study reveals that hemorrhage and hypertensive disorders remain the leading causes of maternal death worldwide. Stakeholders advocate increased vaccination to prevent child mortality. Sheriff, thank God, thank God you didn't say I should come and be reading the news.
That would have been fun, though.
But there will be all kinds of things. Because the problem I have with reading, right from childhood, was I read in a hurry. And when I remember when I was in school, I was, during service, they said to come and read the Bible passage. The first Bible passage that I read said, we'll now read the Bible passage. I got there. The Corinthians, Reverend Obama said, no, Disu, you will have to read that again. Oh, dear me.
Let's go to our next story. Page 12 of Vanguard has this one here. The story that we've been on for some time now. Natasha Gate, Niger Delta people are solidly behind you. Pandev, ISDI, tell Akpabio.
Nigeria is a funny country. Okay, so in this Natasha, what they call Natasha Gate, following the crisis rocking the Senate, Niger Delta Elders Forum say they are behind Akpabio. I don't know whether there's any woman among them. Pandev also said that they are solid. They didn't say they are behind Akpabio. They are solidly behind him. Another group, Ikotekpene Senatorial District Indigenous in Lagos, has said that the sexual accusation by Senator Akpoti Duagan against Akpabio was a conspiracy by retrogressive forces in the polity to smear the hard-earned reputation of our illustrious son and uncommon leader, and assured him of our loyalty and support at this critical moment. Pandev, while throwing in his weight behind Akpabio, said, this is Pandev. Pandev said, forget about the sponsored news making the rounds about you and your office, but be rest assured that we are strongly behind you. Another one, accusation against Akpabio, conspiracy by retrogressive forces. This is a group called Samueludo Usoro, president of group ISDI. Then another one, women's groups also protest Akpoti Eduagan's suspension. Nigeria is a funny country, I tell you, and there are so many ways to skin a cat and fill your belly in these times.
You know, incidentally, yesterday I saw in the news how different groups. I just see this as people see conflict as time to cash out.
That's what it is now.
Declaring support for this. Different groups from the north, different youth groups from the north.
Yes.
They had their separate conferences yesterday. One supporting this party, the other supporting that party.
Yes. It's a very lucrative venture. We should have formed one by now.
I don't want to. I cannot.
I'm going to form one. I'm going to be the head of the committee for radio analysts. Yes. Nobody asks you who are your members. It takes. You just write the statement and put it and do put you need more to go. Do you want to imagine the kind of money that will be making the rounds on all sides? Now, all sides. Not necessarily one person, but you want to know. And the question you should ask yourself is, what do any of these statements, in real terms, what does it mean? Everybody knows, rent a crowd, we're used to it. Issuing statements, we are used to it. You understand what I'm saying? So why do we keep doing the same thing, knowing we're going to get the same results?
They know they will cash out. I think that's what's important to them. They just want to,
Sheriff,
they just want to cash out.
Sheriff, think of something. It's about time. We need more to.
We are not going to join them.
I'm going to form some.
We're not. Let's take our final story this morning. Do we have the time? Okay, let me just mention it. Court declines to legalize prostitution. Dismisses Abuja sex workers' suit.
Nigeria has to have a discussion on whether we should legalize prostitution. We have to take it out of the realm of religion and put it in the realm of practicality. In Amsterdam, for example, prostitution is legal, but it's put under severe control because it's the oldest profession in the world. You've always had. So is it better to close your eyes to it and say you've banned it when you know you cannot effectively ban, or to recognize it and manage it? We will have to have that discussion one day.
Is there a problem with it right now? Why is it a conversation?
There's a problem with it now. Everywhere is full of akuna. What are you saying? But it's the oldest profession, and it comes in various forms and various degrees. There are all kinds. There's the daily, there's the overnight, there's the 10 in a day, all kinds. If I can give you a report.
You know all of these things.
I know all of these things.
How?
What do you mean by how? Am I blind?
I mean, you know the
You know the what?
You know the daily. You know the overnight.
Yes, sir. There are those who take 10 in a day. Go to when we were young, Taiwo Street in Lagos and Isaloja in Agege. They're everywhere.
Okay. We have to go now.
Yaba, Gondola.
We have to go. Lagos, that's our show. It's back at 9. Good morning to you.
Welcome to the Central Bank of Information.
On the news this hour, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is urging investors in the United States to see Lagos State as the right place for their investment.
It's available to you 24/7.
Still on the news, Adamawa resident electoral commissioner is expected in Abuja.
It would be very correct to say that the latest pandemic in Nigeria is domestic violence.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Back with your number one station for talk.
And you'll be glad you did.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.